Hey guys, Gary Sibbs here, back with the Day 2 preview for the Cheltenham Festival. Put one up yesterday having a look at the races, or the main races through Day 1, and today we're going to have a look fairly, maybe a little bit quicker than yesterday, through Day 2. Mainly looking at the championship races, not so much the handicaps again, just because, to be honest, I put that much time in studying right through all the big races that I just simply don't have time to go through the massive fields of the handicaps to try and find winners. And when you look at the handicaps, the handicaps are renowned for having big price winners, and you to be honest, you can be a bit potluck, I think, in the handicaps at times. So the way I look at it is I won't be fingers crossed, if your betting goes to plan, you shouldn't be relying on the handicaps to be pulling you out of the dirt at Cheltenham. So yeah, we're gonna go on to Day 2, as I say, and the first race we look at is obviously the Ballymore. Now, the Ballymore over the years is proving to be a bit of a race where the winners are coming out, and I wouldn't really say not going on to do a lot afterwards, but horses are coming out of it that look as though they're going to be superstars, and then are just not becoming too much at all, really. When you think about it, you go back to York Hill, Sam Crow, City Island, Willoughby Court. They've all, go back to Faheen. I mean, Faheen's come and been rejuvenated again. Faheen's probably the best one in the recent years that's actually come on and gone on to do really good things. That said, it's maybe one where if whatever does win this race, you don't at the minute want to be thinking it's automatically going to go on and become a better horse next year and win another race next year, because you just don't know. And that goes for all the novices. You just have to look at Classical Dream and horses like that are just looking like superstars, and things do happen. Things can happen as they get a bit older, and they don't always turn out to be the horses that you think they're going to be. In the Ballymore this year, it looks like, again, we've got horses entered here, there and everywhere, and we're just going to have to assume for the minute that Envoi Allen is going to turn up here. It looks his most likely destination, and you will know if you've been following my anti-post picks that I've been pretty much against him in the Ballymore. I've been pretty much against him going here. I feel if he was my horse, he would have gone to the Supreme. I just feel all his form has well, not all his form's been better, but the majority of his form has been over 2 miles. He's had the one run over the 2.5, and now he's got to go the 2 mile 5 up the hill, and it just causes me a concern. That said, the more and more the festival's getting closer and stuff, I am warming to him. I am thinking, well, everybody says he looks like a superstar. He must be a superstar. But, again, that gut feeling, that gut instinct is that again, if you've watched the videos, I tipped up Time Hill. I'm still behind Time Hill. I've got a worry that he won't go here. The yard of 2 novices in Time Hill and Sporting John, and they won't send both to the same race. I think they will send one to either Sporting John will go to the Supreme and Time Hill will come to the Ballymore, or Sporting John will come to the Ballymore and that'll push Time Hill to the Albert Bartlett. He's higher up in the betting in the Albert Bartlett as Time Hill, but I'm holding my fingers crossed that he goes here. Now, I've seen a few people said to me, but Envoi Allen beat him in the bumper, and that's a different race altogether. A bumper. There's no jumping involved, and there's nothing wrong with Envoi Allen's jumping. I've been going back through the races of Envoi Allen's trying to pick holes in him to figure out why he's not going to win. But after jumping one or two quite big in his last run. When the pace got quickened up with Envoi Allen, he jumped really well. He very slick his jumping, so there's nothing to be picked at there. But it is now over the extended distance, the 2 mile 5 up the hill, and I think that is what is going to pull things in Time Hill's favour. I really do. He's got more experience over the 2.5 distance. I believe he's had 3 races, I think. I haven't got it down here, but I'm sure he's had three wins over the 2.5 distance. He won the Ballymore race at the November meeting, ran an RPR of 152 that day. So he's got the Cheltenham form, he's got the form up the hill, and I just don't think you can knock that. For somebody against somebody, a horse that has got, in my opinion, a bit to prove. Hey, listen, Envoi Allen could come out and make me look, not make me look daft, but just silence any doubters and be an absolute superstar. And to be honest, when I've gone through the stats of the race, the stats back him up. When there's a red hot favourite in this race, right, don't just look at favourites, as in when there's been 1 or 2 close together and you've maybe got like a 9-2 favourite somewhere around there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a red hot favourite. When there's been a red hot favourite in this race, it's around 50% of recent times. In the last 6 years, there's been 3 red hot favourites, and all 3 have won. And they were, when I can find it amongst my scribbles, Sam Crow was 8-11, York Hill was 6-4, and Faheen was 6-4. And I think Envoi Allen is currently 5-4, so he's around them prices. And the market has been right with them. They've gone and won, so I'm probably wrong to doubt the Envoi Allen side of it. But you can only go with your gut instinct. You can only go with what you think. And betting wise, if you fancy him, you might as well wait till the day and have a punt. I don't see the price in him being much different. However, if you're on my side and you think Time Hill is going to go there and is going to do the business there, you can currently get 12-1 for him. And if he was declared there and others weren't declared, Asterion Phalanges in there that I don't, as you'll know from yesterday's video, I don't think he'll be there. I think he'll be in the Supreme. There are quite a few other horses in there that are not going to turn up here. There is, like I say, Sporting John's in there. Only him or Time Hill will be there. There is also the big getaway. I do think the big getaway will be here. I think that'll be the Willie Mullins charge here. I think the big breakaway. The other one, is it? They'll probably send that one here. Chantry House, I don't think will go here. Fiddle on the Roof, I don't think will go here. Harry Senior could be an interesting one. That's Colin Tizard's 6-year-old. He ran an RPR of 144 the last day. He won the Ballymore in January, so he's got the course and distance form as well. And that day he finished really strong. If you go back and watch that, he did finish a really, really strong race there. And he's currently priced at 20-1. So I wouldn't. That's a buzzer to tell me Man United have scored. So that's just made this video a little bit better. I wouldn't be knocking that form at 20-1. If he's again declared, I think that price will come in a little bit. And he ticks a few boxes for me. He's got to improve again. He's got to come on. Let's say if he ran the RPR of 144 last day, he's probably got another 10, 15, maybe not that much to find, but he's going to have to improve. But I like the horse. Ran a cracking race the last day, and at 20-1, like I say, he's probably going to be in with an each way shout, I would have said. But when you're looking at the betting of the Ballymore generally, like I've told you, 3 red hot favourites have won this race in fairly recent times. And of the last 8 years, 6 of them have been inside the top 3 of the betting. So we had last year City Island at 8-1. And then in 2017, when Willoughby Court won this, he's the at 14-1. He's the biggest price to have ever won this, biggest starting price to have ever won. So it's never been one down the years for the likes of a Harry Senior at 20-1. It's always been something up there in the market. But their prices at like starting prices. Harry Senior could easily be a 14-1 starting price by the time everybody's declared. The numbers are down. These prices that you've got away from Envoi Allen, I don't think Envoi Allen will change much, but the others will probably come in. So for me, my opinion is I'd be with Time Hill at declaration stage if I found he was in the race. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you're wrong to back Envoi Allen, because, like I said, every stat I can find backs up that he should go and win. It's just something in my head, and I'm usually a sucker for red hot favourites. They normally get me backing them left, right, and centre in doubles, trebles, lucky 15s, and everything. And to be honest, I might even, because I always put some bets together for each of the days, and I might even put Envoi Allen in my lucky 15s or whatever for the day, just simply because of the doubt of Time Hill. I really, really wish they would send Time Hill here. I've just got a little inkling in the back of my head that they're now not going to. But that's where we are with the Ballymore. Spent enough time on that one. Sorry for rabbiting a bit. But we'll move on from there. We'll go on to the RSA. The RSA this year is a race for me that's not really up to too much, if I'm honest. It's been a good betting one for me down the years. I've done quite well with it. I was all over top of the game last year, and what a shame that is that he's out for the season. I think the only time I've not won this in the last 4 or 5 years was when Mike Bite won it, and that's because I can't stand Mike Bite. Never have been able to. So I didn't back him that year, but I've had quite a good bit of luck in this race, and it is a massive race for the punters. The punters have done really well in this race down the years. In the last 5 years, all 5 have been in the top 3 of the bet. I've had 3 favourites and 2 third favourites. And then before that, we had a couple of an 8-1, a 12-1, and then another favourite before that. So it's been a really good betting race for the punters, excuse me. So we have at the head of the market Champ. Now, I sort of said in my preview video where I put my anti-posts up that I just couldn't take Champ at that time because of how bloody crazy he is, basically. But he's a rightful favourite in my eyes. If he gets round and jumps round, he's going to take some beating. His ability is absolutely second to none. And you know, he has done the odd. He's got the quirk. He's done the odd bonkers thing. He nearly ran out when he last won. But the engine he's got is just tremendous, and I honestly, I think he's going to be really, really tough to beat. I do. I tipped up Minella Indoor, and I still think he is the main danger. And based on the stats of the top 3 in the betting coming in for the last 5 years, I think that's where we're going to be again. I think it'll be Champ, Manila Indoor, and Copperhead. That'll be the top 3, I would think. And we're not the top 3, but I think that's where the winner's going to come from. In behind that in the betting, we've got Allaho, Battle Over Doyen, Faheen, Slate House. Well, Allaho and Faheen obviously probably get split. I don't think Faheen will go here. I think Faheen will be off to the other one, the Marsh. Battle Over Doyen has obviously got a really bad fall, by the way. Not just a fall. I know Champ fell the last day, but Battle Over Doyen's fall was horrific. Real bruise. I was waiting for some bad news to come out of that. So he's got that to overcome. That can do anything to a horse. So he would have to. I would like I suppose they didn't really have time to get him. He'll have been sore from that, so they won't have had time to get him right, and that's not an ideal prep at all. And I know, I say same applies to Champ. He came down, but his was not the worst fall in the world. I don't think that'll have taken much getting over, to be honest. But battle over Doyens will have. So yeah, he'd have a bit to prove to me. So again, I wouldn't put anybody off backing Champ in doubles, trebles, and whatever for the day. I think Manila Indoor and Copperhead are both dangers at a decent price. But to be honest, I mean, if Champ hadn't fallen the last day, and he was going to win when he fell, there's no two ways about it, he was going to win. That 7-2 would be a lot shorter. And I think we're looking like he's a likely winner, and we could start the day with two favourites, showing that the market's right and getting off with two wins. So yeah, like I say, I'm not disappointed I tipped Manila Indo up at the time. I'll leave him in the bets I've got him in. But when it comes to final selections, if somebody said to me, there's £100 now, the race is going off right now, who are you going to put it on? To be honest, I'd probably put it on Champ. So that's where we are with that. Then we've got the Coral Cup. I'm not really going to go into the Coral Cup. I tipped up a horse that I thought was a knocking bet for this. I thought I could just see the Cashel man going and winning the Coral Cup, but he's gone and done that well. I don't even think he's going to be in it. He's going to his entries are in. He's entered in the main. He's not going to be in the handicaps now. He is entered in. Is he in all three? No, just the two. He's in the Ballymore and the Albert Bartlett. I think he'll be running in one of them. So that's my tip for that. Probably out the window. So the Coral Cup, to be honest, not got much of a road into it at the minute. In fact, looking at them in the betting there, I wouldn't even know if somebody said put a bet on now. I would be struggling, so I'm not going to get into that. And then we're going to move on to a race that I have another vested interest in the Champion Chase. Now, in yesterday's video, I said to you that last year I was really behind the idea that Lady Buttons, who for those of you watching this for the first time, is my parents' horse, that she should have been in the Champion Chase last year. I stand by that, stick by that. I think she would have, looking at how the horses did in the Champion Chase and that ran last year, I think she would have been right knocking on the door for a place. And I said that maybe it was, a bit more 50-50 towards the mares and this now with the lineup in the Champion Chase this year. And to be honest, I keep changing my mind. Like 1 minute I think, nope, she should go to the Champion Chase. And the next minute, you look down the list and you think, should she, shouldn't she? But the way it is with Lady Buttons is she's never been given the chance. Her best throughout her career has been 2 mile chasing. That is where she's done her damage, and that is where she has been the best. She's done the best performances. Till very recently, where she has matured and stepped up in trip a bit. But we're talking Cheltenham. 2 mile at Cheltenham's like 2 mile 2. 2.5 miles again like 2 mile 7. You've got, because of the hill, and I'm just not sure she'll get that extra distance, and that's why I keep going back to the Champion Chase. And if we've got a Champion Chase here and say Underso's in or whatever, if we get a fast run pace out front, something that's going to go and lead, Chacun Passoir likes to lead. If we've got some out front that sets a blistering pace, it'll suit her down to the ground. It really will. Now, I'm not saying she's going to go out there and destroy them all, but trust me, she is up there. She is an outstanding jumper. I saw something the other day when people were saying when you get to the top level, they're all good jumpers. They're not particularly. Altior didn't jump brilliantly the other day. He would still be my pick, by the way, out of those. If take Lady Buttons out of it, say she's not in the race, okay, I think Altior is the one to beat. He's the defending champion, right? He's not over the hill age-wise, right? I think he's 10, isn't he? He's not. He's still there. Yeah, he's got the young pretenders coming up behind him, but they have got to go out and beat him. And he proved the other day that he was back to being Altior. And And I'm telling you something, there is not many horses in this game that have a turn of foot. When he was asked the question by Nico, when he give him a slap, the afterburners came on, and he truly delivered the other day. And if it's coming, if you're an in-play better and you're coming round with the second last, Altior look as though he's struggling. He's off the bridle. Shakan and Deffy could be sat there on the bridle. You could get on the exchanges and have some money on it at probably a good price, because he will dig in. He'll hit that flat spot, but he'll still be there. And if he's there coming over the last, if he is anywhere near them coming over the last, then they will be in deep waters, because they will not have afterburners like he has, and that is a fact. I think Shakan Passoir is probably the best jumper of the three. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with what he's done so far. He surprised me, actually. When I first started hearing his name mentioned in the Champion Chase mix, I thought, nah, he's not really going to be that good. But he is, he's proven it. And Deffy just saw a couple of my mates, one of my mates, Banty, who I go to Cheltenham with every year. It's his Napa the festival. But I just, and it's a horse I really like, I had a big reverse forecast on that race last year with Deffy, and lost in translation, was it? And got me a good chunk of money back. But the danger, to be honest, everybody's talking about those three. There was a horse who is entered here and he's 33-1 in Dynamite Dollars. Actually, it says 33-1 there. I'm pretty sure Odds Checker's wrong there. I think you can only get 25s, because I had a look earlier on today. Dynamite Dollars ran an absolutely cracking race in the So Royale and Altior. He ran a cracking race there. He was just behind So Royale, and it was his return, first race back, and I was really, really impressed with how he jumped. He got to the front. He looked as though he was going to be a winner at one point, and just bringing up what he ran that day, I'm just quite interested to see what RPR they gave him. RPRs do, but I'm a bit of a geek like that. Yeah, he ran a 164 that day. I mean, that's a 164 on his return. Before that, he was 3 from 3 in his last 3 over the 2 mile trip. He was second to Layla at Cheltenham last year. No, the November, not last March, the November meeting, and then he had a win before that. So he's won nearly all. Well, he's been second once and then third on his return this year after a long layoff of over a year. And he's 7-year-old, and I think he's a massive danger. I think that price is absolutely mental for him. I like to put what I do for my bets. I'll put maybe a lucky 15 on for the day, and I'll put an each way one on as well, and he will certainly be in my each way should Lady Buttons not be in the race. I always back Lady Buttons when she's running, so I would never back against her. But yeah, just back to her for a second, is that I think a good, fast, strong-paced race would suit her. And I just think if she went there and sort of not disappointed, but was out, say those 4 horses beat and she came 5th or 6th or whatever, okay, you might think, well, maybe we should have gone to the mares or whatever, but you've tried at the top level, because she could retire. She'll be retiring either at the end of this season or at the end of another season. And for me, that what if will always be there when she's never been entered in a top open 2 mile chase in the last year or two. It's always sort of been avoided. I think maybe this year as well, I would have I would have maybe had a trip over to Ireland and gone up against them, just so you knew where you were. You could have gone in one of the big races for some massive prize money over there, maybe at the Dublin Racing Festival, instead of going to the hurdle racing handicap, and seeing where you were, and then you'd know for the festival. You'd been over maybe the race where that Shakan won last. You could have gone in that. And up against Shakan and Min and whatever, and you'd have known where you were with her. And this decision for the festival would have been made a little bit easier. But hey, she's got choices. It's absolutely amazing for my mum and dad that they have a horse where they've got these choices. She's an absolute superstar up here, up in the north. And it's just really, really nice to have a horse of that caliber, that popularity. She's just an absolute superstar. The emotions in them, in the enclosures there when she's racing is just. Well, there's some videos of going about her the last few races, and it's just brilliant, man. It's absolutely brilliant. So to get those days out with a horse is fantastic. Anyway, I'm diversing a little bit from my preview, but that's where we are with the Champion Chase then. So my bets, I think there's some good horses in there. If you were to say to me now, give me your 1, 2, 3, I would say Altior 1. I'm going to say Shakan Passoir 2 and Dynamite Dollars 3. I'm going to leave Defi Desoy out of it. That's where I think we'll be with it. So yeah, that's that one. We've got a couple of more races that day. We've got there's a little issue of a cross-country race goes on, and it takes absolutely no talking about whatsoever. Great to see Tiger Roll back at the weekend. It was a great run. I think it was 50 finished in the end. They just wanted the blowout. They got the blowout. He was going really well till he blew up. They totally expected it, and he will go to Cheltenham. He will run that cross-country race, and I mean, it's a race where a lot of horses, Mike Bites in it this year, entered Yanworth, Ed Wolf, Yorkhill. They're all entered, and they're all the sort of has-been horses. But Tiger Roll will run that and will win. And you know what? I can't even believe he's still 6-4. I still think 6-4 is a good price, because he could go off 8-11 or shorter. He's just an absolute knocking bet. So any trebles, doubles, multiples you're putting on for the festival, get him in them all. Because yeah, he will get round. And then we've got the bumper. The bumper is a horse I have got in a massive bet of mine. Appreciate It, tipped up on here at 16, which I'm absolutely gutted about. Although it's a 16-1 likely winner, I had him at a much bigger price in the beginning of December. I've got him in loads of bets from then. And just when I first started doing the anti-posts, I just totally forgot about him. But anyway, he was tipped up at 16s. He's now into 7-4, so it's still a great bet. And he's going to take some beating. He's going to, from the very first day he ran, he's just put on an absolute masterclass every time. And I would go as far as saying he's not far off the Tiger Roll status where he will not get beat. So fingers crossed he's going to return us a good bit of cash, and if Asterion Phalange wins the Supreme on day 1, I will not be able to contain myself all day until this horse runs in the last race on day 2. So there'll be some nerves kicking about. So yeah, that's day 2 over with. Sorry, it's probably dragged on longer than I wanted to because I've yapped on about Lady Buttons a bit, but that's where we are, and there's some good money to be had here. I think the Champion Chase is the hardest one to pick. It'd be very hard to be putting lumps on a horse in that because there is some cracking horses in there, but I do think there's some massively overpriced that one there in Dynamite Dollars. And yeah, I'll be back probably tomorrow with a day 3 preview. So good luck to you all. Anybody who's on the bets that I'm on, good luck. Had some really good comments from yesterday's video, and it's nice that there's so many people watching them. And speak to you tomorrow. Cheers.